Or follow them on Twitter and Instagram and everything else as well, because they will be drip feeding out as to events in 2023, which will very slowly start to fill up diaries, I would imagine. Waved yellow flags just to slow the cars down as they come back onto the grid. Let's have another go at this one. Mark Sims is going to try again to get away from pole position. I don't think there is going to be a car alongside him, because I think Ben Colburn has opted just to start off the back of the Miglia grid by the look of things. Let's just have a quick look. Where is Ben? Can't see him. Oh, he is there. He's mixed up amongst the Libres at the moment. So is he going to thread his way through to the front of the grid, or is he just going to stop where he is? So we'll have to wait and see on that one. Duff Owens is flashing his lights for some reason as he comes up to his grid position. So Mark Sims on his own on the front row of the grid. Let's see what he might be able to do. It is going to be Ashley Davis and Rupert Death on row number 3, Nick Padmore and Andrew Jordan on row number 4, on row number 3, and row number 4, the gap where Aaron Smith was driven off the grid, which means that Jeff Smith is on his own.
Ben Colburn's going to weave his way through here like a bit of a slalom. He will get there. Which way does he go? He goes to the right of Andrew Jordan, then through the middle of row 2 and back on to the front row. So hopefully things are going to be better for this start for Ben Colburn, but let's hope those behind are a little bit prepared for what might happen for Ben.
Here we go, 20 minutes. We're about to get things underway, and we've got exactly 20 minutes before the curfew, so the checker flag might come out just a shade early. Mark Sims on the front row of the grid, Ben Colburn alongside. Lights go out. A slightly better start from Ben Colburn, but another good start from Mark Sims and another brilliant start from Ashley Davis from the second row of the grid. Ben Colburn has got Rupert Death to his right. He's got Andrew Jordan to his left as they weave their way through Paddock Hill Bend. It is Rupert Death that picks up the lead. The pit lane starter is Aaron Smith, so he is able to get involved in this race, but he will be starting from the pit lane. Rupert Death picks up the early lead, and it looks as though Mark Sims is tipped into a spin as there was contact between himself and Ashley Davis, which now allows Nick Padmore to come through into second place, but he's running side by side with Jeff Smith as they head in towards Graham Hill Bend for the first time.
And Andrew Jordan was involved in that incident at Druids as well, so he's way down the field behind Lewis Selby now. So Andrew Jordan with dirty tyres, hopefully not too much damage to that car, but it looked like 3 into 1 just wasn't going to go there. So it was Mark Sims, as you said, got turned around. He was the one who couldn't be avoided, and a few made contact with him as well. So already it looks like Rupert Death has a very extendable margin out front here, so he is on his way up towards the line, and I think Nick Padmore is going to be there in second position. So he's got work to do to try and close this down with the earlier winner, Jeff Smith, now up into third place.
And I'm afraid that Rob Howard is limping his way back round into the pit lane area at the wheel of the spearmint coloured car, so he is going nowhere. Mark Sims has only now reappeared into sight after his shenanigans up at Druid, so that has caused problems for a few of them. And then slowing down on circuit, heading up towards Druids. Who is that is going really, really slowly, creeping their way up towards Druids? We'll try and pick up on that one. I think whoever it is, they have retired now on the inside of Druids, and don't think we're going to be able to pick up on which car it was in the end.
No, it's a kind of lime green coloured car, isn't it, which pulls off then to the inside through the right-hander of Druids corner, and yeah, it's just
Richard Jessup, I think. Yeah, I think it's Richard Jessup.
It's out of harm's way, which is good. So that's a bonus, which means we can carry on with green flag racing. All the screens have gone off, which is always a helping hand.
It doesn't help when the remote control affects every single screen that you press.
There we go, we're back. So no change at the front. We can see that for Rupert Death. He goes through now, but has the margin come down between him and Nick Padmore? Yes, by about 0.3 of a second there. So Nick Padmore, with possibly some help from behind just to spur him on, is now trying to get to the tail of the race leader. I think they will all get there, but how quickly can they do it?
6 places gained for Aaron Smith over the course of that lap. So the pink number 21 car in the hands of the 3 times champion is now up into 14th position and has got a bit more work to do to catch the next of the batch of cars that lies just ahead of him. So they head up towards the left-hander at Surtees and then on towards McLaren, the race leading pack. Rupert Death leading by 1.25 seconds at the end of lap number 2, but Jeff Smith in third place on the first flying lap set the fastest lap of the race that we've seen so far at 54.732. We were down in the 53s earlier, 54.3 earlier on, so only 0.4 away already on the first of the flying laps. But the leading pack head up towards Paddock Hill Bend. Rupert Death, the double former champion, leads the way.
Certainly does, but get this, Mark, Andrew Jordan now up to 9th place after his problems at Druids Corner, so he was absolutely flying through the field, and with him is taking Lewis Selby, so they run 9th and 10th now through Paddock Hill Bend. Behind Aaron Smith also is going to try and make a move on the inside of the number 47 machine of Darren Mason, so they're all making progress, but they just need to get there as quick as they can and hope that Rupert Death keeps all of this train in one long line so they can get there and have a challenge.
Yeah, so the next of the cars for Andrew Jordan to catch is going to be the number 66 car in the hands of Darren Cox, but he's got Phil Pullen-Brown's light blue car sitting just ahead of him, so they are fighting over what will be 7th and 8th place at the moment. The top 6 have got away. Another car heads in towards the pit lane, I'm afraid to say, and I think that is another retirement for poor old Phil Harvey. 2 out of 2 for him in the Motley Mini. So over the start-finish line comes Rupert Death. He was leading the way, but he's been caught well and truly by Nick Padmore this time through. We saw Nick Padmore do great things in the pre-66 race earlier on. There's a bit of a wiggle from the car in 3rd place, Jeff Smith, so by the time he gathers it up, he has lost a place as Ben Colburn carves his way by, but Ben is on the outside line for Druids. Can he brave it out? Answer is no. Despite the wiggle, Jeff Smith hangs on to 3rd place. It's going to be Ben Colburn there in 4th position, ahead of Ashley Davis in 5th place, and then his fellow Welshman sits behind him, which is Enduff Owens.
Certainly is. He might just get a birthday present yet, mightn't he? Enduff Owens sits in there just off the tail of the leaders as it stands. Meantime now, Andrew Jordan is up ahead of Phil Pullen-Brown, so that puts him into 7th position and plenty of clear air ahead of him now. So this is the attack that Andrew Jordan needs to try and catch up with the 6 cars ahead. So watch to see if that progress continues for the number 1 car. The gap that he needs to close down here is going to be something like 4 seconds. So work to do, as Nick Padmore almost has a look there on Rupert Death into Paddock Hill Bend. He's going to try and get another second bite of the cherry there through the corner, and Jeff Smith's almost going to make it 3 wide up the hill in towards Druids Corner. He then just backs out of it as he sees that door shutting in front from Nick Padmore. So moves are plenty coming at the minute, but no change amongst the top 6.
No change at all amongst that. It wasn't for want of trying, and in fact Nick Padmore's now dragging a bumper, is he not, as he sits there in 2nd position. We've got 1 car off and into the gravel trap at Paddock Hill Bend, and is that Lewis Selby? No.
66 by the looks of it.
It's Darren Cox then, yeah, Darren Cox. So it's Darren Cox that's off at Paddock Hill Bend. That car backwards and into the gravel and possibly right the way up towards the barrier, so we'll have to wait to see how that is dealt with. But we are now side by side for 2nd and 3rd place as they come into the yellow flag zone, so they'll need to sort this one out, make sure they don't overtake each other. It's Rupert Death that leads Jeff Smith in 2nd place, Nick Padmore with a damage sitting there in 3rd, Ben Colburn is there in 4th place, and Enduff Owens I think saw the yellow flags very late there and has done the right thing. He'd overtaken a car, he backed back off again and dropped to the tail end of the queue.
Yeah, good work there for Enduff. He shouldn't have been there, but he realised his mistake through the corner. So as Mark said, he goes back down to 6th position. So next time he should realise we've got the now just single wave yellow for there for the time being. But the top 6 through, Andrew Jordan, remember this, 4 seconds back. He's now down to 3.8 seconds, but I think he's a lot closer on this lap already. And there's more, in fact there's a safety car which is being deployed. So this is massively going to help all of those where the gaps had formed.
It certainly is, yeah. That is going to be a huge advantage for Andrew Jordan, who was 4 seconds adrift of getting himself onto the leading pack. So he's going to be able to catch right the way up with him over the course of this safety car period. The flip side of that, though, is that whilst he's been able to catch them now, when we go green flag racing, there's going to be less opportunity to overtake because the clock is still going to continue to tick whilst we are behind the safety car, and we are only 14 minutes away from the curfew. And there are only 13 minutes remaining on this race. The difficulty is that the curfew doesn't mean that that's when you put the checkered flag out. The curfew is all of the cars have to be back in the paddock area with the engines turned off. So we're going to see the checkered flag at probably around about 6:27, 6:28, I'd have thought, Matt.
Yeah, the curfew is kind of no noise whatsoever.
Absolutely.
So we need to get the cars into the pit lane and switched off as best as we can. What it also does mean, as you said, the safety car has been called, but we are going to need, I think, the telehandler to come up the hill, which doesn't take the work of a moment, does it? So it's going to take quite a bit for that to come out, get the car recovered, get it to a place of safety, and to then get that back into its position as well. So 12.5 minutes to go. Luckily, it is a 20-minute race, so we're going to eat probably 5 or so minutes into this, which will give us probably around about just over a quarter of the race still to go. So there is some time to be had here, but it just depends how quickly we can get that mini out of the way.
Yeah, let's hope there's no broken front suspension on it, because it did sort of bosh into the tyre wall with the front of the car as it made contact with the barriers and then spun around and looked as though it's gone in backwards ultimately. But yeah, it was damage to the front of Darren Cox's car. So the telehandler now out ready to try and attach itself to the stricken car of Darren Cox, which will be dragged rather unceremoniously further into the gravel trap to get it out of harm's way. And only once that has happened and the telehandler and all of the marshals are back behind the barriers safely, can we get the resumption of the race underway. So that is still going to be a few minutes away from happening, I'm afraid to say. So safety car out there. We've got 11 minutes and 40 seconds of this race remaining. Just run you down through the order, the way things stand, and pick up on what's been going on in the Libres as well, because I'm well aware we haven't done that as yet. Car number 23, Rupert Death, double former champion, leads the way. Treble former champion in Mini 7s. Number 46, Jeff Smith, is there in second position. Third place, it's a champion in historic Formula 1, number 56, Nick Padmer. And fourth place is number 55, which is Ben Colbert. Fifth place is number 87, which is Ashley Davis. Sixth at the moment is another former Miglia champion, which is the number 5 car of Endaf Owens. And seventh is the reigning champion, which is Andrew Jordan. Eighth place is number 18, which is Lewis Selby. Up to ninth, the car that started from the pit lane, 3 times the former champion in Miglias, which is the number 21 car of Aaron Smith. And Phil Bullen Brown completes the top 10 at the moment. For the Libre class, in 14th place, car number 232 leads that at this stage, which is a largely grey and black car of what is Craig Cox. Second in the Libre class is car number 219, which is the black and orange car. It's the current Libre class champion leader for this season, and won the class earlier on, which is going to be the car of Richard Colburn. And third in the Libre class at this stage is a retiree from the race earlier on, but he's out there and having another go. Car number 179, which is the blue and orange car of Andrew Dickinson. So that gives you the top 10 overall, top 3 in Libre.
Yeah, it certainly does. So the safety car brings the field round. It's quite a slow safety car lap at the minute, but I know you hear Formula 1 drivers moaning about how slow the safety car goes, but some of these drivers will be liking this. It gives them a chance to relax and chill out and get some fresh air coming through the car, because as we know, when you're racing these minis, they do get very, very hot indeed. So some slow safety car laps at the minute, but that also allows the marshals and the team down there at paddock to have more time to get things moved without having cars going past. So it's all within the work of a moment for them. And of course, when we do get the instant clear, it does then mean that the work goes through to the safety car to just speed up a little bit, and of course it can then get around the lap fairly quickly, especially on this very short 1.2 mile Brands Hatch Indy circuit. So things just calm down for a minute. We are, as we said, with the clock still running, and I think they're just finding it a little bit difficult at the minute just to hook that car up, because it hasn't as of yet moved, but hopefully before too much longer it can be dragged probably down the hill and further away from the edge of the gravel trap or edge of the road, down to kind of where the telehandler does sit itself anyway. So that's all going on. We hopefully won't be here for too much longer under safety car, and we can get the final part of this race back underway. Yeah,
and what I would suggest, ladies and gentlemen, if you are involved in the parade laps, then as we can see, many of you already are lined up along Colin Chapman Way, but head back to your car if you're not already there. So do head back there now. You can always listen to the race, because you can just tune in on Radio Brands 87.7 FM and just pick up on the action there whilst you patiently wait to get released onto the circuit ahead of the parade laps that will be taking place. I would imagine probably about 15 minutes time, there or thereabouts. We'll be able to get you out onto the circuit. So this race has now only got 8.5 minutes remaining. Darren Cox's car is now onto the back of the telehandler and is being dragged further down in towards the gravel trap. It is going to take at least one further lap behind the safety car, because the safety car is now just at pit lane entry, so we're not going to get it done and dusted over the course of the lap that it's on, and I think it might be quite nip and tuck as to whether we even have them one more or possibly 2 more laps behind the safety car. Rest assured, Matt, they'll be doing it as quickly as they can, as safely as they can, and also making sure they don't damage what is already a damaged car as a result of the incident in the first place.
Exactly, yeah, they've got it lifted up by the rear at the minute, so dragging the front through, but of course with the gravel being quite deep there, I don't want to do, as you said, any damage to the front of that car. What I did notice is Nick Padmore's got a bit of bodywork trailing from the rear of his Mini, hasn't he?
Yeah, I mentioned that. That was at the start. I think there was contact between himself and Jeff Smith, I think it was, and yeah, he sort of got the right rear wheel arches slightly adrift, but the chrome bumper's hanging down, isn't it?
So a bit of repair work to be done, bit of spending to be done on that Mini as well for Nick.
Disposable items, rear bumpers and wheel arches on Miglias.
Yes, they are. Nick's quite eager actually to get on with this race, and we've run into the back of Jeff Smith there up the hill, but he's liking this, isn't he, after his earlier performance, of course, where we saw him out there just missing out on the podium in this race, but we did see him out in the, was it the pre-66s? Pre-66s
he was on the podium. We were talking historic Formula 1 cars as well, weren't we? Because he is a champion in historic Formula 1 racing as well. As he's saying, largely Lotus that he's racing at the moment, the twin chassis Lotus, which was the Colin Chapman designed car that won its first race in Formula One before it was very quickly removed and deemed to be outside of regulations because it did too well. So he does get to drive some fantastic cars. We've seen him driving ex-Keke Rosberg and Alan Jones Williams Formula One cars here in the past at the Masters Historic Festival and things at Brands Hatch. And of course, if you like historic cars, Silverstone Classic's not far away. I know it's a different circuit, but you know that is a very unique event that may well be worth going to. There'll be a few of the drivers on the grid here, particularly in the pre-66 minis, that will be out in some of those races as well at Silverstone for the Classic. So how are we getting on? We're almost there. It looks as though this is going to be the final lap behind the safety car, which is a good job because we've only now got 6.5 minutes of the remaining time left. We've only got 7 minutes, Matt, before we hit curfew.
Indeed, so I reckon we're going to get the early checker flag that we thought, but at least the drivers will get a few racing laps in, and you can see now the safety car has sped up quite a bit, so it's on its move, it's on its way, it's going to try and get back to the pit lane as quick as possible, and now all the minis need to speed up as well, make sure they can keep up with that BMW safety car, and of course keep themselves quite condensed as well. But as soon as that safety car heads in, it does mean that Rupert Death is effectively then the safety car, and he'll decide when he wants to get this race back underway. But I think we predict probably about 5 laps will squeeze in here.
Nick Padmore came into the pits to get the rear bumper ripped off so that he didn't get a black and orange flag, so he has managed to do that under safety car, which has helped him to a degree, but difficulty is he's now at the very tail end of the train. Now I think we're probably going to get maybe 3-4 laps of racing in here before we see the checkered flag, and the checkered flag will come out before the clock ticks to 0, so Matt and I need to remember to keep looking down at the gantry, otherwise we'll get caught out like we did earlier on when the checkered flag came out a minute early. So it is going to be up to Rupert Death as to when he wants to get things back going again. He's already put his foot down, he's accelerating away, he gets the race back underway. Jeff Smith chasing him over the start finish line with Ben Colburn sitting there in 3rd position. It is Ashley Davis who is under attack from his fellow Welshman Endaf Owens, who at the Dayglow car tries all the way around the outside and makes it stick. So the former champion goes through into 4th position, almost ran out of road as he went in towards the braking area up towards Druids. And Andrew Jordan also sees that the door was open. He's now trying to carve his way through into what will be 5th position, but Ashley Davis, having lost 1 place, is having none of it, side by side down towards Graham Hill Bend.
Yeah, certainly is, and Andrew Jordan now, as we said, is one who's benefited from this safety car and will get the run down the Cooper Straight surely on towards Surtees corner. Can he squeeze his way through? Yes, he can. So Andrew Jordan now up into what's going to be 5th place, and not quite to the podium, and there's contact between the top 2. Jeff Smith goes into the side of Rupert Death. Jeff, I think, has broke some left front suspension possibly. He goes wide off the circuit through McLaren, and Rupert Death does recover and just manages to handle that car. But now look who comes through, birthday boy Endaf Owens to the lead of the race.
Yeah, so Endaf Owens is leading the way over the start finish line. Now come, no checkered flag that time through, so Endaf Owens leads, but Rupert Death is trying around the outside whilst Andrew Jordan tries to sneak up the inside route, and getting very sideways there was Endaf Owens. Not sure whether it was the lightest of touches between himself and Andrew Jordan, but Andrew Jordan picks up the lead of the race, and birthday boy is now down, what, 6th, 7th place, I'm afraid.
He certainly is. I think Jeff Smith's into the pit lane, which is no surprise. But Andrew Jordan, from where he was on that first lap, is now into the lead of the race. So he goes through. 2nd place at the minute is Ashley Davies from 3rd on the grid. And for 3rd place, I think the man who had that spin just about caught it through McLaren last time through is Rupert Death. But look who's behind him, Aaron Smith from the pit lane.
Yeah, fantastic stuff from Aaron Smith. And just behind him is Lewis Selby, who is finally having a little bit of a good luck here, and the rub of the green for the first time. Over the start finish line now will come. No checkered flag this time either as we get towards 6 minutes before curfew. Andrew Jordan leads the way, but Ashley Davis is sitting right with him in 2nd place. Rupert Death, Aaron Smith, then it's Lewis Selby, followed by Ben Colburn, Endaf Owens, and then the light blue car is going to be Phil Pullen Brown. All of those together as they head up towards Druids.
Certainly is. The man who sits in 2nd place, Ashley Davies, yet to be a winner so far this year. So let's see if he can do any of that magic on the back of Andrew Jordan on the run down towards Graham Hill Bend. The top 2 just with a slight margin now over Rupert Death in 3rd place. Aaron Smith still there in 4th. Lewis Selby has done well when we thought this weekend was done and dusted prior to this race, but he's come back well from where he started on the grid and now sits there in 5th position. So it's all to play for as they work their way through Clearways and Clark Curve for what could potentially be the last time, because the checkered flag is being unfurled here, and it's just been kind of hand into the person, but I think they're going to squeeze one more lap in as they go through. They will. So yeah, on to another lap for the race leader, Andrew Jordan.
Yeah, I don't think we've seen Ashley Davies win in Miglias yet. He's had wins when he's been in sevens in the past, but since he stepped up to Migs, I don't think he's claimed a win. If memory serves me correctly, I've not seen as much of the Mini 7 Racing Championships over the course of the last few years as I have done historically. So it is Andrew Jordan that leads. The blue car is Ashley Davies there in second position. Rupert Death in third place. The pink car is Aaron Smith in fourth place. Then it's going to be Lewis Selby, followed by the green and black and orange machine of Ben Colburn. But onto the Cooper Straight they go for what we think will be the final time of the race this time through. The checkered flag is being readied. I'm sure it's going to go out just, what may be 2 laps earlier than it ought to, but we are heading towards curfew. We've got to get the cars in the pit lane, and it looks as though Andrew Jordan and Ashley Davies are going to fight it out on the sprint to the line, Matt.
Yeah, it's going to be a drag here for the final win of the weekend at the 10th anniversary of the Mini Festival. Is it going to be Andrew Jordan, or is it going to be a win for Ashley Davies? I think it's just going to be Andrew Jordan who hangs on, which he does by a very small margin at the end. He goes through to take another win this year. That now lifts him up onto 4 wins in the championship. Second for Ashley Davies and third place for Rupert Death.
Yeah, third for Rupert Death. Aaron Smith, hats off to him as well, and congratulations for finishing in 4th place after starting from the pit lane. Lewis Selby finally, with a bit of luck, gets his best result of the season. He'd had a 6th, he's now got a 5th, so at least that's a couple of half decent scores for him over the course of this year. And then in 6th place was Ben Colburn, 7th was End of Owens. Phil Bullen Brown finishes in 8th place. 9th place is going to be the Sean King car. Completing the top 10 is Colin Peacock. The winner of Libres in the end was 232 in 11th place, which was Craig Cox. Second in Libres was 219 in 14th place, which was Richard Colburn, and third in Libres is going to be 179, which was Andrew Dickinson. And that is it for us for Mini Festival. We've got the parade laps coming up in a few moments' time, but that will be post-curfew, so we won't even be able to introduce those. We've got about 60 seconds, Matt. What a weekend. We've had the weather. As ever, we've had brilliant racing.
We certainly have, 22 races we've got through. It's been action-packed, as always, from start to finish. It's been a memorable mini festival, and as we said, great to see so many people joining us here today on Festival Day. We hope you've enjoyed it, and we look forward to welcoming you back here at Brands very soon. But I've enjoyed it, Mark, and always nice to work with you.
Yeah, a pleasure as always, Matt. Thanks for all of your help throughout the course of the weekend. Thanks to Craig Cook as well, who was our guest commentator representing the Mighty Minis category. Festival Italia next weekend, the 14th of August, where we have Ferraris, Lamborghinis, Abarths, Alfa Romeos, Maseratis and Lancias, all to enjoy. Vauxhalls as well. We've also got the Ford Live coming up as well as a further event here at Brands Hatch. And remember, the likes of the finals for the British Superbikes and the British Touring Cars and Trucks and Fireworks, all to come on a busy remaining 2022 here at Brands Hatch. So thank you all for joining us. I hope you've enjoyed the weather. I hope you've not got too sunburnt. Enjoy the parade laps from the mini clubs. Safe journey home as you make your way back to your respective houses. But from Matt Suckling and myself, Mark Werrell, thanks for joining us for the 10th edition of Mini Festival 2022. Until next time, goodbye.
Well, how about that? That's quite a spectacular race to finish off the mini festival here at Brands Hatch. Got Andrew Jordan came through more or less from mid-pack to take the win, but it was drama all around in that one.
Yeah, that was full on. I to be honest, I thought the win was still on even before the safety car, because the car came alive in that race. And yeah, it was just full on. It was full on from the start. It was full on till the end, really. So unfortunately with Endaf, he'd lost the back. I'd lost the back. He was sideways in front of me. So I like Endaf. I don't like making contact with him. So, but I think we'll look at the onboards. He's really sideways as I'm sideways. So just mini racing.
I saw the bumpers hanging a bit loose. I thought maybe the tracking might have been out on the front.
It had a real. I don't sound like a drama. I've done something to my hand or my wrist up at Druids. The contact really spun the wheel out, so I think it's bent something here, but yeah, it's bent something in there as well.
Yeah,
so,
there's not much give in the suspension in these.
No, it's all pretty solid. So, but the car was fantastic, really, really good. So yeah, I thought it was still on even before the safety car. So safety car just helped bunch it all up a little bit.
Yeah, well, it's a good way to round out.
Thank
the
you.
weekend
Yeah,
anyway.
cheers. Thanks very much.
We did have to finish that race early because of the 6:30 curfew here, because people move next to race circuits and then tell them to be quiet. So. Ashley, mega.
Yeah, that was awesome.
So obviously we've seen you win many, many times in Mini 7, but that is your first podium.
No, second. I've done it once before. Second podium.
I'm well informed. Well, it's good to see you there
Yeah,
anyway.
yeah. Oh, it's brilliant. Obviously, it was a short race. I think I would have struggled if it had gone on for the full term. But yeah, it's really close. It's awesome. It's nice to be back there instead of dithering around in the middle.
Well, you've obviously got the pace.
Yeah, I think we got to be honest with you, it's not at its best at the moment as well. So I'm really happy with the result. You know, we've literally bodged it back together just to get it back out for this race. So yeah.
And you managed to avoid some of the carnage at the beginning there.
Yeah, there's plenty of carnage going on, wasn't there? I think I did cause a little bit, sort of. Mark closed the door on me at the top of Druids there, but yeah, it's racing, isn't it? It's so close out there. It's bits and pieces are going to happen, aren't they?
Yep. Yeah. So after a difficult weekend at Castlecombe, Donington, it's nice to see you back.
Yeah, it's slowly coming together.
Yeah. Highs and lows of mini racing.
Oh, definitely.
Well, congratulations. And
Thank you very much.
there you go. Cheers, Ashley.
Cheers, mate.
And finally, for the Miglias, we're going to speak to Libre guys in a sec. We've got Rupert.
Hello
Rupert
there.
Deef. How was that?
Yeah, interesting.
Okay. That's it. As one word answer.
That's all I'm going to say at this moment in time. But yeah, good race, but a little bit unnecessary actions going on.
Okay. You see, you've got a bit of damage there on the wheel arch, but was
Yeah.
it handling okay?
I've got four-wheel steer.
Oh,
Oh,
nice.
three-wheel actually. Three-wheel steer.
So does it steer better in right-hand corners or left-hand corners?
It was better round left-hand corners.
Oh, but that's a shame we're going clockwise.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you come back and go the other way then?
Yeah, well, perhaps we'll do a reverse, instead of doing a reverse grid, we'll do a reverse race.
Yeah, why not? Be interesting
Something-
coming up.
Something to throw in the mix, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
But no, glad to finish, and yeah, brands we move on from.
And probably still leading the championship. I know drop scores come into it, but
I'm not sure, but yeah, I'm sure there'll be someone working it all out for us.
yeah, we get some bod on that with a calculator.
That's it, yeah, okay.
Because you lose 3 rounds over the year.
3 drops, that's right, yeah.
Yeah, so obviously once it gets to about the 3/4 of the way through the season, it
Yeah,
starts to come
about
into play.
now it starts getting interesting, yeah, but it's so unpredictable, who knows what's going to happen yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, looking forward to Anglesey.
Right, you put on a good show anyway, so
Thank you.
hope you enjoyed it. There you go. Cheers, Rupert. Nice to speak to you.
And you, thank
And we're going to see the Mini Libre drivers. We've got Craig Cox, not Darren Cox. I'm sure I didn't offend too much. Richard, did you win that one?
No.
I'm sorry, I was so intent on the... congratulations, Craig.
Thank you very much. Yeah,
And your 8-port grey machine behind us just there. How was that for you?
that was much better than the first race. Yeah, we've been struggling with the handling all weekend. Seemed to get it a lot better that time. That was a crazy race. So a lot of casualties along the way, and mad to watch from a good viewing point there where we had. But well happy with that. Very chuffed.
Obviously, loads of power going down the straights. You can really hear it roaring.
Yeah, it's really good. It's really good. You get up behind the MiG and you can pull up to the back of them along the straight with a bit more mid-range torque. We got a little bit heavier, but we've got a fair bit more power. It's been a great day. I really enjoyed it. Thanks.
Nice way to round out the weekend for you. So, and I call you Craig this time, not Darren. So, cheers, Craig.
Cheers. Thanks very much. Cheers, guys.
Richard, another podium.
Another podium, yes. Second, very pleased with actually because I'd lost all the gears after the safety car. So it was jumping out of second gear for the first race, and I drove clearways holding it one-handed. But by the time we got the second race, it got worse, and then it jumped out of fourth and third as well.
That was a famous Ayrton Senna move, wasn't it? Holding the gear stick in.
Yeah.
Your hand's not bleeding.
No, it's not as good as that. No, not the hands of God. No.
You could take the compliment.
But yes, that was it was a really good to finish because I thought at one point I couldn't get any gear, so I didn't was going to finish. So really pleased to see.
Okay, so back in the workshop, strip it down, and ready to go for Anglesey.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm looking forward to Anglesey. I've driven there once in a Clio,
Yep.
so it's a fantastic circuit. So really looking forward
So
to
we've
it.
got about 3-4 weeks until that round.
Plenty of time.
So
Plenty of time.
cheers, Richard. Well done.
Right, thank you very
Good
much.
to see you again. Right, and finally, Andy Dickinson, who's hello. I haven't spoken to you this weekend. Sorry,
I've avoided the situation.
you've run away.
Yeah, I've avoided the situation.
Well, you can't now. So you're on the podium,
I know, yeah.
third
Pretty
place.
good. Yeah, it was third at Donington, third here, so yeah.
The car's going
Happy with
well.
that. Yeah, so far so good, touch wood. It's all alright, yeah.
So you obviously progressed up. Well, not obviously. You progressed up from the Mini 7S class
yeah.
to the Libre. You think it's a nice jump up?
Yeah, it's a big jump, and well, I found it was my only affordable jump that I could make, so I thought, give it a go and see you
Loads
for a
of
few
power.
seasons. Yeah, loads of power, loads of grip. But it's still crazy out there. There's still a lot of people faster than me as well, so just got to practice my starts and hope to improve along the way.
Well, congratulations again, and go and grab your trophy. Well-deserved rest and a bit of bubbly.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you.
Well done, Andy. There you go, and that's pretty much it for the racing action this weekend. Thanks very much to everyone at home watching. I know there's been some great comments on there, and we'll have a look back later on this evening. So thanks very much again to Mini Spares for sponsoring the live feed, and everyone that's helped. And that's it really for now. We're over to Anglesey next as a club, which will be in about 3 weeks' time. And in the meanwhile, all the spectators that were here with their minis are going to take to the track and have a buzz around the circuit. So again, thanks very much for watching. It's been a pleasure.